Okay, right here. Right here. He see.
Good evening. Thank you for tuning in to episode 38. Gotta call him now. Thank you for tuning in to episode 38, 38 special of the Frontline Black News. I'm your host, Kay and Kruma. I'm joined with my other host, Lady Che, and we are joined with our regular guest on the program, Shabaka Sankori of Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced, of which I am the co-host of. And we will be discussing several things tonight. The first thing is Tangibles 2021. The next thing is the Armaud Arbery Trial / verdict. The next thing is Malcolm X's daughter, Malikah Shabazz, found dead in Brooklyn home. Darrell Brooks allegedly kills people in Waushua, Wisconsin. The Gloveland Four granted full justice 72 years later. Is this a symbolic victory, Black family? Michael Strahan going to space. Missouri man Kevin Strickland serves 40 plus years in prison on wrongful conviction. State offers zero compensation. Florida hospital steals Black couple's baby's organs. And last and certainly not least, Unhoused neighbor news and Unhoused neighbor sweeps.
All right.
Real quick before you go, Shabaka, Ramel Understanding will probably join us a little later. He's occupied. Carry on, Shabaka.
Okay. All right. Well, anyway, as we were saying earlier, on the previous broadcast, is about having the unhoused neighbors, form a voting block and then vote them individuals, straight up out of office. You see what I mean? Who is violating their human rights on that, was well, it is, because housing is a basic human need and a human right, just like going to the bathroom is and having to change your clothes. You see. And then getting with the Armaud Arbery case, I want to say I'm very, very glad, that these guys did get convicted. Because as you know, I'd stated earlier, I didn't think that they would, but I'm hoping I was wrong, and I'm glad I'm wrong, and I am glad that they got convicted. But you have to look at when they were doing the buck breaking on the plantation system. Notice how, if you check your history, how they always did it, in public view.
Right.
The other slaves looking on, the other slave owners looking on, as they commenced these atrocities, against our people in chattel slavery. And what happened with Mr. Arbery, in my opinion, was no different, because that's why they videotaped it. I bet you them, good old boys feel real stupid taking that video. You say is because they even said that without the video, there wouldn't have been no conviction.
Right. So keeping it with the order of things, the first thing that we're going to be discussing is Tangibles 2021. So in 2020, a brother by the name of Tariq Nasheed, pretty sure that many of you are familiar with him, especially those
right.
who literally ingest a daily diet of Black First podcasts, like me and Lady Che. He came up with the hashtag Tangibles 2020, and it was regarding the presidential election in 2020, and it shed light on the malign neglect policy that's been in effect for the past 50 years, which
Oh,
lumps
yes.
broad, ambiguous terms such as people of color, minorities, marginalized, underprivileged, underserved, downtrodden, and the list goes on and on and on. So,
Right.
getting at was we are tired of being lumped, we, meaning the foundational Black Americans, American descendants of slavery, the people that built this country, the foundation of this whole country, are tired of being lumped into these broad, ambiguous terms. And we're no longer going to
Right.
take it. So, any politician that's seeking your vote, they're going to have to do something specifically for you. The days
Exactly.
are over of them doing for all these other groups and neglecting us in the process. They have all
Right.
the time, money, and energy and resources to do for the LGBTQ, for the illegal immigrants, for Asians, for natives, so-called Native Americans, $5 Indians, but they don't have time, money, and resources to do anything specifically for us. But yet they want us to vote. Vote for what, Black family? If you're not getting nothing tangible out of voting, what's the point of voting? So we're saying
Well,
here on Frontline Black News, if you're going to vote, we're not telling you who to vote for. We're just saying if you're going to vote, demand something tangible for your vote. And you say, what does you mean by tangible? Tangible is something that you can feel, something you can touch, something you can count and measure, not symbolism, not what we've been getting for the last 50 years from the Democratic Party, or as we call them, the Demorats, something
right.
tangible. So for all the way up until 2100, we're going to demand something for our vote. This is going to be a marathon, not a sprint, Black family. And what are we demanding? We're demanding reparations in the sum total or starting at total. Not this is not even the full amount that's owed, but the starting amount total is $100 trillion for past, present, and future for past, present, and future atrocities that have been brought against our people and continue to be brought against our people in 2021. So next year the hashtag will be tangibles 2022. However long it takes, Black family, we're going to continue to push for our tangibles. So any politician that is seeking your vote at the state, at the municipal, local, and at the federal level, demand something specifically for your vote, or just don't vote for them at all. We have to send a clear message to both of the parties, the Democrats mainly, because what 80 something percent of Black people vote for the Democratic Party. We have to send a message
Right.
to them that they can no longer use this malign neglect policy on us and neglect us, put us on the back burner, and do for all these other groups. We're supposed to be the backbone of the Democratic Party, so that the Democratic Party needs to be doing something specifically for us. Otherwise, we're
Right.
going to vote for them, and this goes for the Republicans too. We're not saying if you're going to leave the Democratic Party to go to the Republican Party. No, that is not what we're saying. We're saying any of these parties that are seeking your vote, demand something specifically for your vote, Black family. Stop just giving your vote away. Stop just voting just because the white controlled media told you to vote, or anybody but Trump, or out of duress, or out of fear. Vote because you have an agenda and you are demanding tangibles for your votes. Politics
Exactly.
is an exchange, not a gift. So it's quid pro quo. If I give you my vote, I want something in return. So that's all we're stressing here on Frontline Black News. If you're going to vote, demand something for your vote, Black family.
Absolutely. And then, in addition to, and this is why we keep emphasizing of getting our children up out of these public indoctrination centers and taking over their curriculums and educations and what have you, and homeschooling now you through qualified, proven, and tested means, number one. And then as we get the economical power through the commercial power and educational power, then we can start flexing a little bit, a lot more actually, when it comes to these elections. Case in point, as we had mentioned in regard to the homeless, with the situation not only there in Denver, but throughout, where they have homelessness, as a major issue. And quite a few cities have them. Milwaukee, New York, Chicago, Denver, Los Angeles. You see, just throughout the whole U.S. And with the economy shifts coming up due to the winter months coming in, and then how this new variant business is going on, and this vax and unvax and all this whole type of stuff. So we got to have the tangibles, and plus, in the meantime, we got to start being innovative for programs and procedures and economical development opportunities, educationally as well too, to deal strictly with ourselves in addition to for our tangibles.
Right. Did you have
Yeah.
anything to add on the tangibles? Like you said?
Tangibles. Yeah, I do actually. Black Valley, like we've been saying time and time again since God only knows. Hold your vote, Black Valley. Hold your vote like you hold your genitals, like you hold your baby, like you hold your mama, like you hold something so motherfucking dear to your heart. Hold it until they have something that is fucking tangible. It benefits you within a timely motherfucking fashion. If they're not talking about what you need to be talking about, which is reparations or resign, cut the check or resign, any of that type of shit, they're not on the black agenda, the only agenda that matters, the black agenda, hold your vote. If you feel like being a mark and voting for what the popular people are and you're a sheep, okay, we don't need you anyway. We'll still keep pushing the tangibles for the people that support Black First, the Black agenda, holding your tangibles, getting your tangibles, and respecting the fact that they want your vote. The Black vote is the most important vote. Without the Black vote, then you're going to have to do a lot of struggling. So they'll say whatever the fuck they need to say to you to get you to be enticed to vote. If it doesn't behoove you, if it's not reasonable, if it's not in a timely fashion, like in your lifetime, in that election, it's not going to benefit you, your family. It's not going to create generational wealth. It's not going to be about cut the check or resign. Not going to be about the Black agenda. Hold your vote. It's all right. You ain't got to vote. You sit it out. Hold your vote till it's something that's going to benefit you, Black family. Till you have your tangible. That's all I got to say on that.
Well, in addition to holding the votes as well, too, then this is when you want to spin amongst yourselves within a black community,
Yep.
just like they did during the bus boycott in Montgomery in 1955, which was a little bit before my time. But one thing that did prove was the economical power of where they had shut down the Montgomery bus company by refusing to ride the bus, and the same rule could apply here in regard to holding your vote. But in addition to holding the vote, focusing on building up black businesses and educational institutions as well too. And we got to get our children away from these indoctrinations, these other idiosyncrasies, ideologies, philosophies, you know what I'm saying, psychosis or whatever what the fuck they currently got going on in these times, and deal strictly for ourselves, is because this is all what these other groups are doing, except the difference between them and us in that regard is that they own all the liquor stores in our neighborhood and take out all the wealth to upgrade their lifestyles.
Yeah. Okay.
All
And
right.
that's what
Mm-hmm.
and that's why we all we got. You see, we don't
Yeah.
have nobody but ourselves to turn to.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right on, Shabaka. So our next topic is the Ahmaud Arbery trial slash verdict. For those that don't know, the three killers of Ahmaud Arbery, who was killed last summer after the George Floyd protests or during the George Floyd protests. There was a protest going on in regards to. Oh, I'm thinking of another case. Sorry. Ahmaud Arbery was killed while jogging in Georgia. He was checking out in a building that was under construction, and three white supremacists by the name of Travis McMichael, Gregory McMichael, and William Roddy Bryan Jr. Just happened to be in the area and decided that they were going to round him up and kill him. So they were convicted of several things. Travis McMichael, the jury found him guilty of malice murder, 4 counts of felony murder, 2 counts of aggravated assault, 1 count of false imprisonment, and 1 count of criminal attempt to commit a felony. He now faces a sentence up to life in prison without the possibility of parole on each of the murder charges, 20 years on each aggravated assault charge, 10 years on the false imprisonment charge, and 5 years on the criminal attempts to commit a felony charge. The judge will decide whether his sentence will be served consecutively or concurrently. The other
Hmm.
McMichael, the father, was found guilty of 4 counts of felony murder, 2 counts of aggravated assault, false imprisonment, and criminal attempt to commit a felony. He was acquitted only on the malice murder charge. He now faces a sentence up to life in prison without the possibility of parole on each of the 4 felony murder charges, 20 years on each of the aggravated assault charges, 10 years on the false imprisonment charge, and 5 years on the criminal attempt to commit felony charge. And the guy who videotaped the whole thing, William Roddy, he faces charges as well. Their neighbor, he was found guilty of 3 counts of felony murder, 1 count of aggravated assault, 1 count of false imprisonment, and 1 count of criminal attempts to commit a felony. He was acquitted of malice murder, 1 count of felony murder, and 1 count of aggravated assault. He now faces a sentence up to life in prison without the possibility of parole on each of the murder charges, 20 years on the aggravated assault charge, 10 years on the false imprisonment charge, and 5 years on the criminal attempt to commit a felony charge. So, Black family, a lot of people are saying justice was served in this case. Other people are saying justice would have been served if they wouldn't have killed Ahmaud Arbery in the first place. Um, it's clear that the son is taking the brunt of the charges and faces the most amount of time. I believe he was the one that pulled the trigger on Ahmaud Arbery,
Yeah, it was the son that shot him.
resulted in his death. So he should be taking the bulk of the charges. And I'm really disappointed with the family. Specifically the dad. The dad got on TV talking about all lives matter and uh, we need to love everybody and all this.
Well, as you know, brother Che, they told to say that bullshit in the press, man, in mainstream media. They
Mm,
told to say that shit.
yeah,
I mean, as fucked up as that was, they clearly murdered that man, with racial bias. I mean, that's clear. And plus that they want to make a video of it. So they knew what they were doing and they wanted the rest of the world to see what they were doing. So just in the same manner of how that they would execute or kill a brother or brutalize him, they would always would do it in the presence of, the other slaves looking on.
right.
Same thing, same signatures on this one, with they taking a video of this in the first place. You see what I mean? And and the whole world saw it. And I'm glad those guys fell. You see. And in some states, that there be special circumstance. See,
Yep.
when you look, when you look at the Armaud Arbery case, the James Byrd case in the 1990s, the Eula Love case.
Yep.
I mean, it's just like photographs that they had taken like about 100 years ago in the 1910s, the 1920s and 30s, of white America lynching, brutalized black people, and they'll take pictures of it with them smiling.
Yeah.
Okay, and this is like photographs from 1919, 1920, 1930, from what I've seen over the course of my lifetime. Then they want us to sit here and forget about that type of stuff. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
that's just one of the elements of critical race theory that they don't want taught. But it's essential, that our youth know that coming up so they wouldn't be referred to themselves as less than and, demeaning themselves with the music and this bullshit that they make up out of Hollywood and things of this nature right here. The more reason to get them out of the public indoctrination centers.
Right.
See.
Yeah. So Lee Merritt and Ben Crump and Al Sharpton were the main ones that were representing them, and explains why the father was getting up there buck dancing and cooning.
Right.
Because obviously there's been a settlement put in place. So now they have to be quiet and say that all lives matter and
Right.
we all just get along like some Rodney Kings.
Yeah, pacifiers, as Brother Malcolm said in the 60s. They'll put these bootlicks up there, man, in front of the general public because they're calling themselves representing, all of us, skinning and grinning, we shall overcome, but
Not
it's it.
acknowledging the fact that there was a pull-up summer
Right.
and the grassroots, the black grassroots, the black streets was on this case seriously.
Mm-hmm.
And
Right.
if it wasn't for the pressure that was put on, because there was a different DA at the time,
Right.
they didn't get fired and got replaced with Linda, this could have went another way, black family. So we still stress, the tangibles for your vote. But pay attention to your local elections because you, in a lot of municipalities, you determine who the DA is.
Right.
So we just so happen to get a DA that actually gave a fuck, or a prosecutor.
And didn't they fire the previous DA?
Yes.
In this case, yeah. Just before their office had picked it up, or right at the beginning of it, the something I believe the information that I came across, some unsavory things that she did. And then she had herself got arrested and convicted as well too. So as the certain traditions that they have toward black people down in the great state of Georgia for the last 400 years, this is the connotation of what I'm looking at is because in these contemporary times, the black male image, has regressed as opposed to progress. And what I mean by that is when you look at entertainment, when you look at mainstream media in Hollywood, the imagery they portray, of black males, and then uh, of how, we are murdered unarmed, and a lot of these individuals have gotten away with without any impunity with this. You see,
Right.
that well, but as we had stated always on Frontline Black News and Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced, is that hey, they got a certain way of dealing with us. You know what I mean?
Well, we know it's not justice, it's just us.
Precisely my point. Yes, indeed. You see, it's just us. And it's systemic of how they got this racism, and systemic of how they got just the judicial process, to work against us. And it would be very, very interesting of how the case would have turned out down there in Georgia had that dude not taken that video.
Right. Exactly.
See, that was the key right there, was the video, because if it wasn't for the video, it wouldn't have got the attention that it did, as well as it should have got the attention that it did. And also two similar cases like that go down, but they're just not unreported or not in the mainstream media. You see,
Right. And we've seen other cases where even with the video, they still, like with the Kyle Rittenhouse, the damn judge refused to admit the evidence.
right?
So they
Or just like Yeah, or just like what they did in Simi Valley, California in 1992, when they said those dudes were acquitted. In that case, dismissed or not enough evidence, acquitted, to add insult to injury. And you clearly got a video showing, all different of what they said, when Rodney King was brutalized. You see, so they have a systemic way of doing things, as we all know, that we commonly said on these platforms, an independent black media, pro black media, and we need to keep it that way, and bring news for ourselves.
right.
You see, because mainstream media, as we all know, all of it is bullshit,
Yeah, it is. Let me
straight out.
We're on Armaud Arbery. Yeah, sorry, Blackberry. I stepped away for a minute. Okay, I'm back. Ahmaud Arbery. Yeah, that was. I'm not gonna celebrate this as a real win. We know that they had that they got the verdict that family was looking for. What I was looking at mostly was the reaction to the reaction when they got found out guilty. All three of them had no visual facial reaction. Um, they did not look like they had any remorse. They didn't look like they were shook or anything. At least in the Rittenhouse case, kid, he put on a good show on the aftermath. He's like, he's gonna have fall out. Like a holy Jesus Christ moment. Um, I went, I was just like, oh, this is terrible. They didn't even look like they gave a fuck, really. They looked like they knew they were gonna go, and they were all gonna be guilty. They looked like they could care less. They just sat there, just stone faced, no reaction. Whole time, even when they're reading off count by count, I got all kind of facial expressions on my face. This is weird. That was weird to me. Then the father going out and doing basically talking to the press. and his church kumbaya moment was crazy to me too. He's like, we all did this. You're like, this is, I don't want no, we want all people to, blah blah blah. And it's like, dude, your son was basically, I mean, he was murdered. He was murdered. You know, he was murdered. They're using the word lynched. Yeah, we'll go with that too. He was fucking murdered. They chased him, they fucked with him, tried to fight back. They killed him. Recorded it. Get
but
it out.
also too,
There was a whole
but
bunch of shit. Hold on. I was just saying that kid, that young man was murdered by fucking two white guys, and one white guy filmed it. There's nothing
well,
to
exactly, but also too, but they did it in, as I was saying, in regard to Southern traditions, where they just did it, killing him, for recreation. You see, they used to do that on the plantation system.
Right, what I'm saying is, so there ain't nothing to celebrate. That man was like, he was having a whole kumbaya moment. There is nothing to celebrate. They're right. That's exactly right. What is there to be fucking excited about? What to be excited about is everybody chased them motherfuckers down in a truck. You had a whole truck full of black people chasing these white motherfuckers down and doing the same motherfuckers to them. Then we could be motherfucking celebratory, because that's justice with justice. You know what I mean? That's justice against an act of fucking, like, oh God, man, like, they fucking did that. All because he was, and they demeaned him in court. How the fuck they know what this motherfucker's feet look like if he's wearing shoes?
Yeah.
He jogging. You know what I mean? And they demeaned him. They shamed him. They fucking, they tried to make him look, the young man look like a degenerate.
In other words, what they did, sisters, that they degraded him is what they did, and then murdered him, and then also too, when slaves were property on the plantation system, places like Georgia, Louisiana, the southern United States, that was a common thing for the slave owner. To kill, I guess, disobedient slaves or what have you, for recreation.
Yeah, I mean, and so with these motherfuckers with the church and fucking Crump and motherfucking what was it, Sharpton and like, like all that right there, and the mother, I understand the mother getting, having a happy moment, like, oh, my son's killers, are being, brought to white justice. You know what I mean? But and she's having, oh, thank you, Jesus moment. Okay, I get it. I understand to an extent. Because, that's not gonna replace your son. Dude, when the father was giving his little press speech for 60 seconds, he didn't say anything about these motherfucking supremacists, racists, killing his son. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, chasing him down, fucking filming it like it was a motherfucking spectator sport, and it isn't. And then everybody's just like, oh well, let's celebrate this small little victory for black people. What? Yeah, and many other motherfucking cases are like that going on that same fucking day, and this is the only one that gets noticed. And not to mention all the other bad things that are happening to black people all over that same day, and nobody's talking about it. This is like a, well, I'm happy for the family. I suppose if that's it. What else is about to happen with this family? Do they get any more justice? I mean, it's a life sentence or what? I mean, are any of them going to get bumped off when they go to jail for, by anybody like us, just because, is there going to be any kind of justice like that? Because, that's like, in comparison to the day before when Rittenhouse got off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, see, that's the trend that they're projecting with Rittenhouse getting off. And like I said, and I'll say it again, I am of the opinion that Rittenhouse's initial targets were black people, the protesters or what have you, that the judge made it a point to refer to the shooting victims ads, and he just got caught up on his way up there. And then, from what I understand, is that the weapon was already there for him in Wisconsin. Because I checked the source, that he did not bring the weapon from one state to another, but it was provided for him once he got into Wisconsin.
See, they didn't bring that up even in court.
See, and then under federal laws, you got to be 18 years old to have a weapon. So what the hell was he doing one with at 17?
Right. It was a straw man purchase. He went across state lines. He wasn't old enough to have the weapon. So he should have been doing time for just that alone. His mom should be doing time for that alone.
Right.
He gets off.
Right. So this, let's say, I'm not. I shared it. There's the hey man, they gave this black family the white court justice system verdict. There,
and then a damn judge. He comes into question too, because of a lot of asininity that he was running in the court, a lot of off the wall bullshit that he was saying during the procedures. You see what I mean?
Yeah, and especially when he called the victims, when he refused to call the victims victims.
Yeah, exactly.
The gig was up.
Mm-hmm.
And my question on that is, why didn't the higher court pick the case up and just retire that old senile motherfucker? You know what I'm saying?
And he was put in the office by the Democrats. He was put on the bench.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, right. Yeah. And we're still waiting for you Biden supporters to give us a call. You see? And the number to call Tuesday night is 516-418-5996 on Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced. Coming to you live 6 p.m. in the Pacific Zone, 7 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 p.m. in the Central Zone, 9 p.m. in the Eastern Time, and that there will be live this coming Tuesday, November the 30th. Getting on code is the subject matter. So, hey, Black family, everybody call in.
Yes.
Yeah, we got to iron, out some issues within the community and what have you. Find a lot of common ground that we all have that we could build up off of. And take it from there, because we're all we got. And like I said, and I can't emphasize it enough, we got to start controlling our own businesses, commerce, infrastructures, all that. You see, and as Brother Chase says, what he's so right about, you cannot lump us off into these other crews that you call people of color and all that old type of shit. We the ones that built this damn country. And we need something specifically for us.
Period.
And that's it. Because everything else is bullshit. It ain't gonna work. It has not worked. And it will not work. I mean, how many times do a motherfucker got to bang his head up against the wall, man, expecting a different result, man, before he realizes, man, that this shit ain't working.
Right.
You would figure it would be at least by the second time, right?
You would figure, yeah.
Yeah. See, so they keep banging our head against the fucking wall every time they come up with these elections, pre-selections, and what have you. I do recognize the sacrifice that people made for voting, and then what voting is supposed to do, and what have you. You say, so what it is, Black family, don't give them your vote. If they ain't got nothing specifically tangibles for us, okay, period, then fuck them. What's the sense in voting? Now, right. On that note right there is that in the meantime, and keep continuing it, even if voting plays out for us, to build up our commercial and educational infrastructures, because that is the only way that we're going to countermand this bullshit in long term. We got to set the bases and the materials down for our babies and get them up out these damn public indoctrination centers so they don't get hit with these bullshit terms of person of color, non-binary, that type of shit. Let
Yes.
that let that Eurocentric bullshit and go on and self-destruct.
Right.
And then on the continent of Africa, like all these damn loans the Chinese is making to these neo-colonialist puppet ass regimes on the continent, and what's happening is they defaulting on the loans, and China's going in there taking the damn land.
Mm-hmm.
See, you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we need to be made aware of, not only on the continent but in the diaspora as well too, is to focus on, the production of that silicon and that cobalt that comes up out of the continent,
Yeah.
with the Chinese economy is dependent upon. That
Yeah.
there'd be a very, very interesting pressure point to apply right there.
Yeah. It would
See,
be.
yeah, and these and like Professor P.L.O. Lumumba says, you got a lot of these, damn puppets ass regimes and cats who didn't go for it, man. They came up dead, man, from Patrice Lumumba to Thomas Sankara.
Yeah. Sure did. By the Western
See,
powers that be.
yes, sir. And then Brother Malcolm, his daughter, his youngest one,
Oh,
just
that's our next.
transitioned.
That
Yeah,
right on, because that's exactly our next topic. So, yeah,
and
just alluded to. My
yes, sir.
daughter Malikah Shabazz was found dead in a Brooklyn apartment. The daughter of the slain. They keep calling him a damn civil rights activist, but he was not.
No, he was a Pan-Africanist and a black nationalist, is what he was.
Right. Malikah Shabazz died Monday. The New York Police Department told Cartoon News Network, otherwise known as CNN. Shabazz, 56, was found unconscious by her daughter at her home in Brooklyn. According to the NYPD, police said the death appeared to be due to natural causes. The cause of death is pending the final results of additional testing, but the death does not appear to be suspicious following initial review. A spokesperson for the NYPD Chief's Medical Examiner's Office, Julie Bosher, said Shabazz was the youngest of Malcolm X's 6 daughters. She is
Right.
survived by her daughter, Beth Bahala, and her 5 sisters. A memorial celebration of her life will be held in the coming weeks, the family said in a statement on Facebook. In this time of deep sadness from the loss of our beloved baby sister, Malikah Shabazz, our family extends heartfelt gratitude for the outpouring of kindness we have received from so many well wishers around the world. We ask for your continued prayers and warm thoughts as we grieve. Bernice King, a daughter of the late Martin Luther King Jr., offered her condolences. I'm deeply saddened by the death of Malikah Shabazz. My heart goes out to her family, the descendants of Dr. Betty Shabazz and Malcolm X. Dr. Shabazz was pregnant with Malikah and her twin sister Blacc when brother Malcolm was assassinated. Peace, be at peace, Malikah, King said on Twitter. Malcolm X was one of the most powerful voices in the fight against racism before his shooting death in New York in 1965. He remains a symbol of inspiration for Black people and others moved by the transformation from a street hustler to a historic figure the late African American actor Ossie Davis eulogized as our own black shining prince. The,
Yeah, he
assa-
did.
the assassination came after a public feud with Malcolm X and the Nation of Islam's founder Elijah Muhammad. Malcolm X had accused Muhammad of infidelity and left the nation in March of 1964. Last, yeah, we talked about that on the last show. Last Thursday, two men convicted of the assassination were exonerated during the court hearing. So, as we've seen in the past, many of our leaders from back in the day, their offspring are coming up dead. Um, his grandson, either his great grandson or his grandson, was found dead in Mexico a few years back,
Yeah, that was his grandson.
and it was mysterious causes of why he was killed. But what this is, they are literally trying to diminish the legacy and the loins of which revolution and black liberation are based off of. So they're taking out the offspring of our prominent leaders
Right.
as the years go by. Thoughts on Malikah Shabazz mysteriously found dead in a New York apartment or home?
Well, first place, condolences go to her sisters and her family. But it's also cool that the legacy of Malcolm X lives on, and that of Dr. King, that of Dr. Newton, uh, Harriet Tubman, Denmark Vesey, Nat Turner, Marcus Garvey. The reason being, when we mention our historical figures, on a Pan-Africanist or Black nationalist side, these other groups, come up to us and says, well, one of your people just gonna get over it. Yeah. And, you see, that's how, they don't have a fucking clue of what the struggle is, of what of what our heritage is and what the struggle was all about. And I believe Jane Elliott, if I did the scholar, the white woman scholar, who sat up there and asked a bunch of her class that she was lecturing inside of a lecture hall, and said, "How many of you white folks out there would want to change positions in the American social order with black people?" And nobody said a word. Then she asked the same question again. Nobody said a word. And then she made the statement, and paraphrasing her, she says, "With your silence tells me two things. One is, the problem exists. You wouldn't want it for yourselves, but you would want it for somebody else." And that has been the American ethos in regard to people of African descent, the ones who built this country, the ones who were bought and sold, on auction blocks and chattel slavery and branded, put in chains. And they expect us to forget some shit like that on a collective basis. But this is why, this media, mainstream media, does what it does on the Cartoon News Network, other networks, nothing but bullshit as well, too. They say, but when it comes to our cohesiveness and our self-sufficiency, as we know, down through history, we've had our figures who went up there to prove that point and have made some progress. But now we got to get it on an international basis as well, too. And we've got to get these colonizers up off the continent. It's because the whole world's economy is dependent on Africa's natural minerals. and resources.
Right.
But you got all these puppet ass regimes and yes men and shit that's bowing down and knuckling under to these motherfuckers. See, but then of course we had those who did not.
Yep.
See, so that's what they're doing. It's Chinese going in there, bullshitting the people there through these puppet regime dictators and neo-colonialists over there. So they're not being neo-colonialists for the Belgians and the French and the Germans and the British anymore. Now they're doing it for the Chinese.
Yep.
Part of that Pan-African coon syndrome, I hate to say.
Yeah, it's definitely part of something.
Oh, yes, sir. Because, you got a lot of our people living in London, England, Paris, France, Brussels, Belgium, Amsterdam, I would imagine. See. But, through the brutalization and the systemic genocide and the Willie Lynch syndrome, stripping the peoples of their heritage and culture and what have you. See.
Yeah.
And then when we go to reaffirm that off of great researches that our scholars have done and what have you, and try to upgrade the quality of our lives for ourselves, then we're labeled as racist. Well, the only thing I can say to them motherfuckers who believe that bullshit right there, read up on the case of Emmett Till. Read up on the Scottsboro boys. See. Then you see why he had guys like Nat Turner and Denmark Vesey. Read up on the brutalization of black males on the plantation system. From beating them in public on a whipping hose, quartering them with livestock, running in 4 different directions as you got each limb tied up to a horse, running in 4 different directions, quartering them.
Right.
See,
Babe, did you have anything to add about Malikah Shabazz Found Dead?
Yes, I did actually. Oops. I apologize. I did. Condolences obviously go out to the family. It's sad. It was what was the word we used? They would use.
Natural causes.
They said natural causes, but the lady
found unconscious.
Found unconscious, or she actually dead in her apartment.
They found her dead and unconscious in her home. Her daughter did.
At 56 years old, a black woman who was obviously a past one of our past ancestors or one of our past leaders, child, okay, natural child, at 56 years old, 56, and she was in good condition. She was healthy. She even did like a little speech the same day. It's on YouTube. She was in very good condition, light in her eyes, healthy. I could pull the footage right now. So I don't really. I mean, we already know Black family what happened. Something happened. Really don't think that woman just died after she was standing straight and tall, talking about her father earlier in the day on camera. So I don't really think that I myself, me personally, Brandy Marie Majors suspects foul play. And it's sad to say that the family has lost another of their members, and it's terrible. It's actually very, very terrible that white supremacy won't let you have shit. Won't let you have a family. Won't let you get your message out. Won't let you, change the world won't let you get back what is rightfully yours and stolen from you. They just have to shit on everything, take everything away from you, including your family, including children, grandchildren, even if you're not here in life. And that is what we need to take back. That's what we need to understand from this, is that Malcolm X has been gone. Then he loses not only his daughter, then his grandson, then his daughter. I mean, come on, like, I think and the two individuals that were accused of his killing sat in prison for how long? And everybody knew they weren't involved. I mean, it's just one travesty after another, and that's just something we probably never get over. What I gotta say about that.
Right. Yeah, so we send our condolences to the family. This is very unfortunate, and there's more to it, Black family, so stay tuned. We'll keep you updated on what happens in regards to this. The next thing that we're going to talk about is the Darrell Brooks allegedly kills people in, how do you say it, Shabaka?
Waushua, Wisconsin.
Waushua, Wisconsin.
Yes. Would you let me just show some footage, or you want to read it? The footage is much more easier.
I'll read it real quick.
Okay.
So, a man accused of careening his SUV into a Wisconsin parade, killing 6 people and injuring more than 60 others. They're saying was a registered sex offender in Nevada and had an active arrest warrant in that state, court records show. He was also released on bond this month after allegedly running over a woman who said she's the mother of his child earlier this month, according to court documents. Darrell E. Brooks, 39, of Milwaukee, is the lone suspect in Sunday's parade tragedy. Waushua Police Chief Dan Thompson said Brooks was charged Tuesday with 5 counts of first-degree intentional homicide in the parade incident. Court documents show prosecutors said they will consider a 6th homicide charge after saying in court that a child had died. The judge has set the bail at $5 million, saying he believes Brooks is a flight risk. Some are wondering why Brooks was released on a $1,000 bond after allegedly running over a woman on November 2nd, an amount the district attorney's office now calls inappropriately low. And here's the video.
Well, I'm going to show you maybe 2. But we're just going to catch you up, family, just so you understand what's going on.
It usually only takes me less than 2 minutes every day.
The best way to shave your head in under 2.
Okay, here we go.
Alan, the investigation into what happened during Waukesha's Christmas parade actually began as that red SUV was still careening through the marchers, with police tracing the license plate and determining who was behind the wheel. Tonight, we also know that the accused driver, 39-year-old Darrell Edward Brooks Jr., was free on bond from a felony arrest earlier this month when he allegedly ran over a woman at a gas station.
The last thing I heard was the band music, and then I heard the vehicle, almost an engine revving, speeding along the route, and then just heard a loud bang and screams and cries, people in pain, fear, and agony.
When this red SUV raced down the parade route, police say the man behind the wheel had been released from jail less than a week ago in a domestic violence case. Darrell Edward Brooks Jr. was free on a $1,000 cash bail that prosecutors now say they are reviewing because it was inappropriately low. This afternoon, Waukesha authorities say there had been a domestic violence police call involving Brooks just before the parade incident.
We have no information that Brooks knew anybody in the parade, but I will say this. we weren't able even to respond to that domestic call before it actually, so we couldn't even investigate it.
Brooks' criminal history begins in 1999 at age 17 when he pleaded guilty to inflicting bodily harm. He has pleaded guilty, been convicted, and done time for drug violations in gun cases, domestic violence, and endangering safety, including obstructing police. Now, after what happened here on Sunday, he is looking at 5 first-degree intentional homicide charges with additional counts, according to police, if more victims end up dying. Brooks was free on bond after being charged with a violent November 2nd incident in which police say he was behind the wheel and ran over the mother of his child. And he was free at that time on another violent felony case from 2020. It was.
All right. I'll pause right there, Black Belly. Pause right there for a quick second. Not even in the Kyle Rittenhouse case, or yeah, we're gonna go with that because this is all relevant. Stay in code with me, Black family. Did they find out that much information on that little white boy that quick? This has only been since what? Thanksgiving, right?
Yeah.
Only a few days, and they already got this brother's shit down like that. They are big. You listen to the language, they already are committing this brother. Like they already are gave up basically. But it gets deeper. Go ahead, carry on, baby.
Since the 23rd.
To the 23rd. No, 25th.
No.
To Thanksgiving.
23rd.
He did it Thanksgiving. Oh yeah.
23rd.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah. Either way, on the parade, okay? There's one more right here that I want to share with you real quick. So let me go back real fast. This is them kidding them right here. All this shit happened like this is like the quickest.
Breaking news just into the Fox 6 newsroom.
Watch.
We're getting our first look at the moments leading up to the arrest of Darrell Brooks Jr. Ring doorbell camera captured Brooks knocking on the door of Waushua resident Daniel Ryder.
Hey, I called an Uber and I'm supposed to be waiting for it over here, but I don't know when it's coming. Can you call it for me, please? I'm homeless. I don't know. Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. My ID.
Look at the police. Black family. Some of us have been there. Look how quick this is.
Whoa.
26, Blacc, Wisconsin, 126.
Cuz thought he was gonna get shot.
Wait, do you know this guy? Absolutely not. Okay.
Again, that was the arrest video, or the moments leading up to the arrest of Darrell Brooks
This is
Jr.
keep it 100, family. He knocked on the door asking for help, right? He's clearly cold, right? And where we at? Right here, right? Clearly cold. He's asking for help, right? He's not in the car that they said he was in. The police pull up like that. And Black family, who's ever been in a situation where the police roll up on you just like that with the fucking lights and the camera, or the lights and the guns pointing at you, and they're yelling at you, and you're like, whoa, you know, like, and it's clearly like you immediately, if you're watching it, you immediately feel like he probably gonna get shot right at the doorstep. You know what I mean? So just stay on call with me, family, real quick. All right, this is the last one I'm gonna show, because this is the serious part. This is court. Wait, it's court right here. There's a short one. This is a short one. Okay, bam. Let's do this real quick because you don't have that kind of time.
SeatGeek. Is it too much to go out 5 days a
Sorry
week?
about the commercial.
Maybe.
Everybody's booty
not when you
talking
get
like
such
that.
great
You really need to
seats.
talk about this.
I can't say no to these things.
Your booty
Get
start
your
making
seat tickets to sports,
orders for
concerts, and live
tickets and
events.
for concerts.
SeatGeek.
We'll
Get
have
your
to talk
seat
about
in a
this,
seat.
Jack family. Here we go.
This is case number 21 CF 1848, State of Wisconsin versus Darrell Brooks. Matters tabbed to Judge Lau. Turns by the state, please.
He's in a turtle suit, Black Valley. Anybody who's ever been in jail know what that suit is?
For Mr. Brooks.
Mental
Darrell
health.
Brooks appears in person in custody with attorneys Anna Keys and Jeremy Perry. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you. And Mr. Brooks, I have reviewed a copy of this criminal complaint. I will find it does state probable cause as to each of the 5 charges before you. You're charged in count 1 with first-degree intentional homicide. That's a Class A felony, and that has a maximum possible penalty of being sentenced to imprisonment for life. That's for victim A. Count 2, first-degree intentional homicide regarding victim B, is a Class A felony. Again, the maximum possible sentence is a sentence to imprisonment for life. Count 3, first-degree intentional homicide regarding victim C is again a Class A felony, and that's punishable by a sentence to imprisonment for life. Count 4, first-degree intentional homicide regarding victim D, again, is a Class A felony. That's punishable by a sentence to imprisonment for life. Lastly, count 5, first-degree intentional homicide regarding victim E is a Class A felony. That is punishable by a sentence to imprisonment for life. And I, again, have found probable cause to each of the 5 counts upon my review of the pleading. So we will turn to Attorney Opper.
This is real for him.
Recommendation.
Thank you, sir. As to bail recommendation, Your Honor, I'd like the court to be aware of a prior criminal history as it relates to Mr. Brooks.
I'm just gonna give my opinion. Anybody who's been in court, and just keep in mind, these are not anybody these are all white people. But this raggedy ass bitch.
And advise the court he has arrest record from 3 states to include Wisconsin, Nevada, and Georgia. So, Judge, just based on his prior record, we obviously have very significant concerns about Mr. Brooks' flight history and willingness to obey the orders of the court. But we have to factor in, obviously, the allegations in this case as well. And obviously, I don't need to state Mr. Brooks is facing 5 consecutive life sentences if he's convicted on all counts in this complaint. I wish to notify the court, sadly, that today we learned of another death of a child related to this case. We do expect a 6th count for first-degree intentional homicide to be issued or added, to this case. I can advise the court that I am aware, I've been made aware through investigators that there are other individuals in critical condition. I think we remarked on the number of actual injured parties in our complaint. It exceeds 60 people.
With that, I will set bail. I have no problem with the bail being recommended by the state. I'm an old guy who has been doing this for almost 40 years. DA's office, criminal defense attorney, 17, 18 years as a commissioner, both in Milwaukee and now in Waukesha. The nature of this offense is shocking. Actually, the detail I was not expecting here today, that two detectives, not lay people, detectives, not only tried to stop this, but rendered an opinion that this was an intentional act. You're presumed innocent, sir, but that's what the allegations are. And I've not seen anything like this in my
what that means.
Very long career. It seems to be a very strong case for the state. Likelihood of incarceration, which is the other aspect of bail, is absolute. If you are found guilty of any one of these, a multitude of them, it's a life imprisonment sentence that must be meted out. So I have no problem. I just, with that bail, it's extraordinarily high. It's an extraordinarily big case. It's an extraordinarily serious case with an extraordinary history of this gentleman, of fleeing, of hurting people, of not following court orders, not following criminal laws, not following just your societal norms. So I know that that's extraordinarily high bail. It's warranted here, and I am setting cash bail in the amount of $5 million.
$5 million, Black family. $5 million. Cash dollars. He's sitting with a motherfucking public defender. He hasn't even lifted his head up. If you listen to the other tracks, the other, because I talked about this on the Revolutionary Agenda earlier in the week, and you listen to it, he is weeping, inconsolable in there. The defense is not giving no fucks. Anybody who has been in court like that, right here, okay, and you're facing some ugly shit, right? And it's nothing but white people, no peer, and they already know because of whatever you've done in your past motherfucking life, you're always going to be a motherfucking criminal to them. And you carry out some fucking crazy shit like that, they're going to think the worst. They're going to think you're a fucking flight risk. You got 100 fucking FTAs. Shit like that, right? Failure to appears. You're out on bond, whatever, okay? Just follow me on this, Black family, down the rabbit hole. And once you say the word "but" means what?
It negates everything
you said previously, right? He gave him a $5 million bond. They clearly know he's indigent. They clearly know he's homeless. He's in a fucking green turtle suit. But he's been to jail? No, that's the crazy suit. That's the suit that you got mental health issues. Clearly, right? Family. This is right after the Rittenhouse thing in fucking Wisconsin?
Kenosha.
Right? In Wisconsin, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the media was, obviously worried about fucking reaction from that shit. Okay? And then this happens to happen. Okay? Most of those victims, I'm pretty sure almost all of them, are white.
So they're going to hit him with the book.
They're going to hit him with the book. This is the most information we found out on a motherfucking alleged suspect in so many minutes, quickly. They've tracked down this motherfucker. He's ringing the doorbell looking for Uber. Who knows? He's cold. He's asking for help. Dude's being difficult at the door. Okay, cool, whatever. You know what I mean? The police show up like that. They're fucking threatened. I felt threatened in the video. Watching the video, I felt threatened, right? So, I'm just saying, they are already made a decision. What I'm like is, where all of a sudden are the black motherfucking pastor, church, fucking reverend, ambulance chasing, fucking they trying to, make a name for themselves, do some black empowerment shit. Where are they? Because this man clearly needs support. Black family. If we're always talking about white supremacy and we're always talking, if we're on the black agenda and we're on code and we're on the topic of white supremacy and the atrocities that they do to us regularly, religiously, they don't even get mentioned. This does. Let's just, the dude's obviously got some issues. He's obviously fucking, got some mental health issues.
Yeah.
So let's just look at it from that line and stay on code, because what they did in all these last little hearings, they're on code. They're on white code, right? Everybody's on code over there. Even if the Arbery case went the way the family wanted it, they got the white judicial system fucking justice. They're on that white code. Black family, what code are we supposed to be on?
The Black code.
Black code.
Yeah, being self-sufficient.
Yeah, the brother right there, he just man needs some support. He obviously is gonna be sitting in jail, but can somebody find an attorney for him? Because that's a public defender, and he's giving up. You know what I mean? The cards are stacked against his brother. Can we at least, not give them some hope, but can we help him? Can we do something for him? Can we look at it in that context? Because, it wasn't like, little Rittenhouse who took out two of his own, and, whatever, right? It wasn't like that. And then we were like, well, he took out two of them. I mean, that's three. That's good riddance. And 3 motherfucking white dudes are sitting in prison. Like, well, that's 3 off let's knock them off. This is like 60 plus. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even want to say what I'm thinking out loud, but I was like, let's find this man some support. That's all I got to say about that.
Thoughts about
that? Yeah, on that right there, man, it's just crazy. You know what I'm saying? It's just crazy. And then
insanity.
No, say that again.
It's this right here. Black Family Stand Code would be, this is a perfect case for insanity.
Oh, yes.
You know what I mean? Insane. Deranged.
Yeah.
Insanity. This is not like a motherfucking, like, he was insane. He maybe he's off his meds. What do we know? And what I like about this case personally is, dude ain't saying a motherfucking thing. He in there. He ain't done no interviews. He ain't trying to reach out to nobody. He in there. He ain't said a fucking thing. Nothing. They don't know nothing. They don't have a reason for it. They don't know why he did it. He couldn't tell them. You know what I mean? That's what I like about this case. Mum's the word, I suppose, when you're insane. Just saying.
Well, the only thing I could say about that, you know what they would do to his ass if he was in California pleading insanity? What they would do is that they would put his ass up there at the Napa State Hospital, right? And they'll leave his ass sitting in there until a doctor certifies that he's sane to stand trial. And then they go on and hit him with the original charge. Like he ain't insane.
How would they do it? I wish, where would she call Ramel?
They would put him in a nut house.
Yeah, this is Ramel. But yeah, there's something that, each state is a little different, but this is a state that is not pulling no punches. So I'm saying,
him say like he's pleading insanity, or
they ain't even played yet.
He ain't played nothing. He ain't said nothing.
That's what I like about this case, and that's what I like about it. I mean, he ain't said shit except not guilty. He has to have said not guilty, right?
I don't even know if he said not guilty.
Right. They definitely gonna take that shit to trial. I would take it to trial and drag it out until I got the proper defense. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's right.
Yeah.
But let's watch this case closely, Black Family, because if we're making any kind of impact, we'll know through this case. We'll know through this case. They've been showing their ass a lot lately with white supremacy. They're taking major L's. Major.
And then, and keep in mind that there's within the ethos of the American culture is white supremacy.
Mm-hmm.
So that's embedded in their culture and the ethos, the group psychology of it. See, I mean, like when Trump was in office, when Kopernak was taking a knee due to the police killings. Oh, fire him, get his ass off the field, all that old type of shit. But you're not taking note of why the man is doing it. And what's it been, 6 years? And he never played in the NFL again.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
but we know he ain't gonna get out, you know that. But let's try to fight back a little bit, something. You know what I mean? Like I could see things, making a different turn. That would be really surprising if we got the right, the right conditions, because there's still room for the right conditions to happen. He still has the right to a jury of his peers. He still has to get a defense. He still has some, he still has a little chance just to give back a little bit of fight. Not completely out of the game, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but he does have a long rap sheet, though. See.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
But keep in mind, his rap sheet is in any other state. If you looked at these rap sheets, some of those crimes are not, like in Colorado. Some of those crimes would not be as bad as they are from the states he got caught committing those crimes in, like Utah, Georgia, and Wisconsin. Colorado, a third of those crimes would not be getting as much power play as they are there. You know what I mean?
Well, in California, like I said, is that he would be hit with all those homicides, and I think the state of California has a moratorium on carrying out the death penalties because, as you know, the last one to be executed in California was Tookie Williams.
Yeah.
And then, and from what I understand, the state of California put a moratorium on using the death penalty. All right. But as I stated before, when you plead insanity on bizarre cases like what this man is accused of right here, or saying what he done, he got into it with his old lady hours before. There's some situations on that the dude's got a rap sheet. You see what I mean? And, and he's got some dastardly cases against him, before this one. So he's going to pick up murder cases, at least 2 of them. Couple of involuntary manslaughters. See.
Yeah, it's not good for the brother.
Yeah. But wow.
Yeah, not to mention he's a sex offender. So it's really not good for this brother at all.
Yeah, exactly. You see? Exactly. You see?
So I can see them basically throwing him under the jail.
Well, pretty much. Yeah. Pretty much. And then with him being a sex offender, man, I mean, come on. That's why you got to put together some type of code, for us on a collective basis.
Right.
To not to go out here and do shit like this. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
And then also, too, try to focus on some solutions to prevent behavior from being conditioned and developed into these type of acts.
Right.
See, just like with the old housing project situation. If you put people on top of each other, or if you put one drop of cheese and 1,000 rats on top of each other to get to that cheese, what are they going to do?
They're going to kill each other to get to that cheese.
Exactly. That's precisely the point right there. See, a form of genocide. And that's what they did with the housing projects, you see.
Well, that's why they call them projects. It was all an experiment.
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay, so I'm going to move us to our next topic.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the Gloveland Four, the black men accused in the 1949 rape get case dismissed. So to give context, Black family, in the summer of 1949, a 17-year-old lodged in accusation that would thrust the rural Florida community of Groveland into decades-long turmoil. The white teacher told police she and her husband were driving home from a dance when they were attacked by 4 young black men who abducted and raped her at gunpoint. The claims made by Norma Paget, who is now in her 80s, set off a manhunt that spurred an onslaught of violence against black residents in Groveland near Orlando, mobilizing the National Guard and prompting Thurgood Marshall, then a lead attorney for the NAACP, to take up the case or the cause of the men who would come to be known as the Gloveland Four. It took 7 decades before the state of Florida formally recognized how the 4 accused, Charles Greenlee, Walter Irvin, Samuel Shepard, and Ernest Thomas, were failed by the criminal justice system. Thomas was gunned down by a mob in the wake of Paget's allegations, and the others have since died. In 2019, Governor Ron DeSantis issued a Groveland posthumous pardon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, posthumously he pardoned them.
Yeah.
After they're dead.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's just ask ourselves, black family, how can they atone for shit like that? See, that's systemic racism. You see what I mean? Institutionalized racism.
Yeah.
See, just like I said, with Emmett Till, Scottsboro's boys, George Skinny.
Mm-hmm.
Just like an O.J. Simpson case. Something, black folks around, some happened to somebody white, and then boom, the closest one they see right there on the flimsiest of evidence, well, let's pin it on him. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, so on Monday morning, a circuit court judge in Lake County went further, clearing the charges against the men and issuing a ruling that effectively exonerated them of the crime. Bill Gladson, a local prosecutor, set the extraordinary move into motion last month when he filed paperwork to toss Thomas and Shepard's indictments and set aside the sentences and judgments imposed on Greenlee and Irving. We followed the evidence to see where it would lead us, and it led us to this moment, Gladson said at a news conference following the judge's decision. Carol Greenlee, the daughter of Charles Greenlee, who at 16 was the youngest of the suspects, wept and fell into the arms of those next to her as the judge formally dismissed the charges.
Mm-hmm.
If you know something is right, stand up for it, she said later of the lessons she learned. Be persistent. In an earlier statement, Carol Greenlee said that despite proclamations from the governor and the state legislature and a monument dedicated to honor the Gloveland Four, the families were awaiting full justice from the judicial branch to feel vindicated.
Mm-hmm.
Little video.
Yeah, that's about Emmett Till.
Yeah. Yep. And it's crazy. And then the woman had said years later that she had lied about it. What's her last name? Bryant, right? What's her first name?
Carol or something.
Yeah, I think it's Carol Bryant. Yeah, she admitted that she lied about Mr. Till whistling at her. So that there just goes to prove, just like with Rittenhouse, is that they look for a little flimsy shit to make an excuse to go out here to kill black folks.
Yeah, well, they're saying that this preceded the high-profile killing of Emmett Till.
Yeah. Wow.
So, Thurgood Marshall's son was present as well.
Mm-hmm.
Among those who traveled to Florida to witness the court's decision was Thurgood Marshall's son, Thurgood Marshall Jr. There are countless people we need to remember who suffered similar fates, who have been lost to history.
Yeah.
Marshall Jr. said at the news conference, "Perhaps of all the cases my father worked on, this one haunted him for many, many years, and he believed there were better days ahead." The Gloveland Four became a disturbing example of racial injustice from the Jim Crow era and preceded the high-profile killing of Emmett Till, a black 14-year-old who was lynched in Mississippi in 1955, by white men who he was accused of whistling at a white woman.
Yeah, her name is Carol Bryant.
Yeah, and she lied, and she came years later and admitted that she lied. Well, decades later, admitted that she lied. Such incidents show how the desire to protect white women was used to justify racism and black people's rights, said author Gilbert King, whose book Devil in the Grove, which investigated the Gloveland Four case, won the Pulitzer Prize for nonfiction in 2013. Gladson's appeal to ask the judge to dismiss charges against the Gloveland Four was not based on whether Paget's may be lying, King said, but rather by prosecutorial misconduct and the fabrication of evidence at the time. And keep in mind, Black family, this was in 1949.
Right. Yeah, to hide a Jim Crow.
Paget said the couple's car had stalled as they drove home from a dance when they were confronted by four black men who attacked her husband before abducting and raping her. Following her accusations, a mob of hundreds of white men, led by Lake County Sheriff Willis McCall, tracked Thomas to a swamp where they found him asleep and shot him more than 100 times. Meanwhile, Greenlee, Irvin, and Shepard were arrested and later convicted by all white juries.
Well, once again, that's that systemic racism and systemic genocide they have against us.
Right.
Straight out. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, so I thought we should shed a lot on this case.
Absolutely.
Because it set the precedence for a lot of cases to come after the fact, namely Emmett Till.
Right.
So we see a reoccurring pattern of this, and we have to be aware of it, Black family.
Oh, yeah. And what they're doing is they got it sophisticated. Okay, just like they don't want our children learning of the brutalization of the plantation system. So now they call the shit critical race theory, or the hanging up on that. They see white America never wants to recognize and realize and face the fact of its brutalization systemically and on a collective basis of what they've done to quote unquote people of color, but black people in particular, because no other group had been subjugated to chattel slavery as we have, considered property, livestock.
My turn. First of all, I would like to say, Black family, we've all known that the white woman has always been fucking inherently evil and will do anything and everything to make sure she gets what the fuck she wants at the end of the fucking day. And a long time ago, you know, if you're whistled in the direction or you were accused of whistling at a white woman, you got Emmett Till wasn't even recognizable when they you know put him to rest.
Yeah.
Men, 100 fucking white men found a sleeping black man in a swamp and shot him over 100 times, and then went and tracked down these other 3 alleged black men. Was there only 4 in that whole town? You know what I mean? There was nobody else. Could have been a lie. Could have been anything. Like, this is what it was. You know, and they suffered. They went through all this. The man, you know what I mean? Like, and this is what it's been. Just like with Ahmaud, he got chased by 3 white men.
Right.
Killed. You know, you see where this is going? And then they're going to crucify this one brother who probably had a mental meltdown and who knows, had a psychotic break and just, I don't know, maybe there's something wrong with the car. You know what I mean? Yeah, we haven't even thought about the car. The car looked like it was already fucked up when it was allegedly going through the parade. Just saying. Factors. Follow me down the rabbit hole, Black Valley. Stay on code.
Yeah.
You know, that's 5 black people, 60 white people. I'm not going to lose any sleep over this shit at all, really. At all. I'm not even going to lie. I'm not losing any sleep over it. I hope the brother gets the help. We should help him. Support at least. Let's pray. Let's do something. In regards to this right here, this is like justice fucking however many years later.
72 years later.
It's not even, it's their compensation.
No, it's not compensation.
Is it a state where you can get compensation?
Probably not.
Probably not. Any of them, right? So, yeah, like that's a whole 2 generations of equity.
Everybody's dead.
Everybody's dead, right?
They're all dead.
The family. What about the families? There's no family for any of these people.
Still alive.
They've been waiting, right? And this is what they get. This is what they get. Is this a victory?
Symbolic victory.
Symbolic victory, family. Basically, thank you for waiting, and not a victory. It's terrible. That's fucking terrible.
72 years later.
72 years later. Fucking terrible. Black Valley.
We see a lot of this. They wait some 50, 60 something years before they come out and exonerate somebody or provide justice for a crime committed. This is a pattern, Black family. You have to be aware of this pattern.
Even with
Right.
picture, like there's a picture where we're reading this from Sources 9 News. There's a monument, right? The monument, and only 3 Black people, and everybody else is white.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where are the rest of the Black people? Questions
to the selected officials and family members.
3, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What is this, Florida?
Yep. Lake County. This outside of Orlando.
Yeah.
Did you have anything to add, Shabaka, before we go to our next topic?
Okay, no, I'm good on that one. Hey, look at here, man. I'm about to doze off to sleep, man. I gotta get up and go to work.
Closing statement, Shabaka.
Huh?
Just do your closing statement.
Oh, yes. Okay, yeah. So my closing statement on that is this: with the Armaud Arbery Trial, this situation here, the brother Che just mentioned right there, it goes to clearly show that we're not going to get no damn justice right here. So, so some of the brothers with the doctrine of separation, they might be right. You know what I mean? Because, I mean, look, we can't get no justice.
Yeah. Nope.
You see, so therefore, once again, I keep emphasizing, we got to build up our own infrastructures. We got to build up our own political base. You see what I mean? To protect ourselves, against this systemic racism. Mm-hmm. And we got to get our fair share of the pie. Look at all the resources that comes from our ancestral lands, and we're the last ones, to get the benefits from it. With our people being unhoused, in high proportion numbers, with all this miseducation and misdirection and brain dead motherfuckers going out there acting like they experts and all this shit, constantly selling us down the toilet, Yeah. Mayor Han Coons, Uncle Tim Scotts, Claiborne, or whatever his name, Hadnock. The Congressional Black Caucus, it's a joke.
Yeah.
And I honestly believe on a grand scale that they are totally out of touch with the Black community, particularly on inner city issues and homelessness.
Yes.
For sure.
See what I mean? And what it is, Black families, it's time to turn our backs on some of these motherfuckers. You see what I'm saying? Straight out.
Right. The time has come.
Right. And then just like how they're going to do the homeless in Denver, hey, have them homeless, be registered voters and put an initiative on the ballot, have Han Coon's ass. He got to sit in that fucking homeless tent for a week.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to be pissing and shitting on himself. I got to get him out of here within 12 hours.
Yep.
Easily.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Shit, being out there living like that, it ain't nothing nice. Your life is constantly at risk. Your general health is at risk. See? And nobody should be out there like that with nowhere to go.
No.
Housing is a human right.
That's right.
Food is a human right.
That's right.
Being able to go to the restroom is a human right.
Right.
See?
Yes.
And, then you get these greedy ass bastards out here that want to fuck around and play space cowboy. And then you said, man, that they took old Michael Strahan up into space, huh?
Yep, that's what we're just supposed to go over if you got time.
Yeah. Let's talk about that. Then I'm gonna lay it down because I gotta go to work tomorrow. And Tuesday I'll be off on Tuesday. prepping the show.
Our next topic is Michael Strahan going to space. So
I don't know nothing
Strahan
about this
is a
Black Valley.
commentator on Good Morning America. He's a former NFL player. He used to play for the New York Giants. Yeah, New York Giants. And now he's the host of GMA, and he plans to fly to space on Blue Origin's next flight. So on
That's
Tuesday,
Jeff Bezos.
On Tuesday, November 23rd, Jeff Bezos' space flight company Blue Origin announced that they will launch the Good Morning American co-anchor and 5 others into the edge of space on December 9th. According to CNN, the football star turned morning host will be joined by lawyer Shepard Crunchley, the eldest daughter of the first American astronaut, and 4 paying customers, investors, Dylan Taylor, Evan Dick, and Lane Bess. And Best Adult Child, Cameron Bess. As noted by Blue Origin, Strahan and Churchley will be honorary guests on the space flight as they did not have to pay for their tickets. The December 9th mission will mark Blue Origin's 3rd human flight to the edge of space this year, and its first with a 6-person crew. Bezos sent himself to space back in July on Blue Origin's first human flight, along with his brother Mark Bezos, 82-year-old female pilot Wally Funk, and 18-year-old Oliver Damien, the oldest and youngest person ever to go to space. I believe that this is a day of being innovative, creative, pioneers in aviation, now space travel, Strahan said, of the new era of space exploration. And it's going to take a while, but I do believe that it will bring a lot of technological breakthroughs and also innovations to us on Earth. And I just want to be part of it.
Wow.
It's scheduled at 9 a.m. Central Time on December 9th from Blue Origin's remote launch site 1 facility near Van Horn, Texas.
Motherfuckers got their own private rocket ships now.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
All right, then all the motherfuckers, once again, as I stated before, they need to get on there, take Gates with you, and fly that motherfucker straight to the sun and do humanity a favor. All these starving people out here, and people up here, pandemic, scandemic, pandemic, and these motherfuckers ain't got nothing better to do except to go out there and play goddamn Captain Kirk.
Yeah, to go.
I'll be damned. I'll be damned.
Yeah, he's gonna be the tallest person to go into space as well.
Probably the heaviest.
So if anything, they probably using that motherfucker as an experiment, for big dudes like that. I wouldn't be surprised in the least. Next thing you know, they're going to be trying to have women have babies in outer space. And them motherfuckers will literally be up out of this world.
Or it might just be that you might actually have to, win that. We're going to win that bet. They're going to take the first female, male, transgender individual that wants to have a baby up there, come back knocked up, and have to prove that it's all his and that's all, whatever. And they're going to try to get that $100. And then we go rack it up.
Hey,
be right.
hey, that applies to outer space too.
It applies to outer space too. Black Valley don't get believe height. They can't have no babies.
Let's go.
Well, then be sure to cash app us $1,000 a piece when they can't.
Yes, yeah, we try to make sure that
and they can't ovulate.
Can't menstruate,
so they
ovulate,
can't give birth
or bear children.
And where the fuck is it gonna come out of? I would not like to see whatever invention for a private, a little cave that women have.
Oh God!
I would not like to see that after they've already mutilated the Johnson. Where is it gonna come out at? The ass. Where's the birth now? The ass. Come on now. You gonna burst the taint open? What you gonna do? How you gonna get it through?
And then by some far-fetched shit, if the motherfucker was able to do it, you couldn't declare that motherfucker human.
Right. No, that's man. I'm telling you, this is how it's gonna be with me. If I was a doctor, I'd be like, "Oh man, I don't, your baby didn't come out right. I don't know what happened, but it's sitting in the trash, cuz." Sorry, we can't let that monstrosity out.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
You know what I mean? I'm sorry, I don't know what happened, but it came out. It's in the trash, guys. Go check it out. Oh well, oops, sorry. We destroyed that. That was crazy. Who thought that was a good idea? Thank you, Delby. We recognize you. We see you, love. Yeah, real shit. That's what if I was the doctor, I'd be like, oh, oops. Dropped it. I would pick it up and put it in the trash. That's where it's supposed to go. That shit is a motherfucking a mistake, an abomination, worse than a motherfucking what's my favorite word? That we call the fucking incest babies.
A mongoloid.
A mongoloid. That's worse than a mongoloid, cuz that's a hybrid fucking fucking wreck of an imagination. Fucking man, Frankenstein type shit. No, we ain't doing it. Sorry.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Said, fuck no, throw that away, Dr. Majors. That's what I did.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna sell it off like heading off in our next direction. But enough about that. Go ahead, Shabaka. Are you going to chime out? Because
yeah. And also too, ladies and gentlemen, definitely check out the like page, Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced. The information is up there. And we've tagged everybody for our show coming up Tuesday night, being on code. Check out the court, check out the description of the show. Definitely give us a call at 516-418-5996. And all you Biden supporters, we're still waiting to hear from you. You're welcome to call in too.
Please.
Although we know you've been hoodwinked, you've been bamboozled, and you've been bullshitted, and you got your heads bumped, we understand. I ain't mad at you. If anything, I feel sorry for you for listening to that bullshit. But, everybody wanted the lesser of two evils. Now look what the hell you got. You got billionaires out there playing Captain Kirk. You got certain life forms that believe that they could deliver children or have live births out the crack of their ass. Let's see.
You have to go to
what else? Okay, what else we got going on right here? And you got all these starving people out here in the goddamn city of Denver under the direction of Mayor Hancoon wants to spend money of throwing away the taxpayers' personal property that they paid taxes for when they bought that property. Okay, as opposed to taking that money, spending on the manpower out there to enforce that shit of putting these people up in some motel rooms.
Yeah.
That's a goddamn human rights violation.
Yes, it is.
So particularly with the winter coming up.
Yes.
Facts.
So we're gonna bid Shabaka good night.
Good night.
Thank you.
All right. Hey, thanks for having me. And definitely, of course, shout out there to Frontline Campaign, Revolutionary Agenda, Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced. Get with us. Check out our platforms. All right. I'm out. Night, night.
Thank you. Thank you, bro.
Uh-huh.
All right. Okay.
So the next topic.
Wait. Go back. I got real quick. I just gotta say one thing on this this Bezos thing or whatever the fuck his name is, and Michael Strahan. This is my opinion, real quick. I'm gonna be brief on this shit. That dude, Michael Strahan, you coon ass motherfucker, you token. Yeah. You gonna be the first black dude to go up in space, right?
Probably. I don't think he's gonna be the first.
Okay,
second.
Probably second, whatever. Not many. Thankfully, you didn't, pay for that. Have motherfucking peace. With him saying that, this will bring a lot of knowledge back and forth, and help. No, this dude is on a fucking adventure to fucking space and back. Mm-hmm. Okay, he is not in there. He is not in the business of learning anything fucking of actual nutrition for the space for us to know. That's NASA. That's NASA who cares about our knowledge of the galaxy and stars, the planets, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, this motherfucker probably want to build a fucking colony and colonize Martians later. Okay, that's Bezos. NASA actually cares about our fucking education and our dreams and wants, and they're the ones with educational fucking enhancement for our brains. Those are the ones you get the telescope for, and you think about fucking going into space. It's because of NASA. Okay. Then they're like, no, we're gonna take some time. I watched when we just watched a program, remember? A podcast, remember? Where NASA was like, we're not flying anything right now. Go ahead and let Bezos do whatever. Mm-hmm. We're gonna take some time, make sure our rockets are prepared, everything's properly done, make sure our people are properly in the right equipment to wear, et cetera, right? NASA has people's interests in mind before they just, pick celebrities and motherfucking old men that, ditch fucking Star Trek and shit. You know what I mean? They are they have our brain and our knowledge of the galaxy and shit in their best interest. They want to know what's going to happen with our world. They are the ones that are on some super fucking mathematical, scientific, fucking intelligence, fucking adventure, space and beyond. Okay, Bezos, that that motherfucker right there. You tokenize black dude. You tokenized Star Trek guy. All right, and he didn't even do what I wanted him to do. Disappointment. You know what I mean? You got this motherfucker going up into space. He's 6'5". He's black. He's probably big. He's big as him. That's a heavy dude. Right? How much you weigh? Like what?
Like 190.
190. Strahan's probably like 220. 225. Heavy. Now throw on a spacesuit with that guy. Another heaviness. Right? Let's talk about that first trip though. How you gonna have an 85-year-old fucking pilot? You must want to die. You just left. Are you sure your rocket is up to par? Let's ask that question. Second, he got his own space fucking landing pilot, launch pad, fucking shit going on. You're not NASA, Bezos. Come on now. Fuck you think you are? But go ahead, waste your fucking money, do whatever fuck you want, fly the whole family up there, stay there. Hell no. There's nothing scientifically nutritional about this motherfucking rocket trip that they're gonna take in 12 days, 10 days, 11 days, right? The 9th? 11?
Yeah, the 9th.
11 days. Didn't they just get back with motherfucking Shatner?
Yep.
And they're going again? Motherfucker trying to line his pockets and keep his bread flowing. He's taking investors up there. That Dylan Taylor's need somebody? His name sounds real familiar. You need some funding, huh? Cuz just say that. This is not about fucking us learning anything about the stars, planets, and the edge of Earth, and the other galaxies and wormholes and universes and motherfucking suns moving around other planets. This is nothing like that. It's about this motherfucker lining his pockets to do some fucking nefarious shit later. Just saying. And Strahan, you gonna go ahead and get on board with that? You already know. That guy's not with us. We know that. So we're just saying. Not being a hater or anything, but fucking Bezos is not on no fucking intellectual fucking journey to space and beyond. He's on to line his pockets and take his buddies up to the fucking space for like what, 6-7 minutes, whatever the fucking however long it is. NASA is not having it, dude. NASA is taking their time. That's why they wait long periods before motherfucking launches. Long periods. And then our museums get, filled with more galactical knowledge. You got more kids wanting to go to the STEM program. They only pick the top students to get into their NASA programs. They only want the best of the best. This guy look like he'll just pick anybody. You know what I mean? He'll take anybody. Oh well, you're the product of the first astronaut. Get over here. Yo, you're 84. You used to fly a fucking pilot for that. Get over here. 85. Should you really be flying motherfucking rockets? I'm worried about you driving down the road. You know what I mean? This will be a thing. Welcome to Aurora. It used to be a thing, right? Where they mentally check you out. 85, there's people roaming around at 85 and they're white with motherfucking dementia and Alzheimer's and cognitive dissonance and whatever else comes with fucking people. Just saying. They crash cars. They work at Walmart. They just look into it. They bag groceries. I'm like, what you man, all right. Bezos on some other shit. Is Strahan gonna get paid for this little adventure?
I don't know.
Or is the payment the trip to space? Because if I was him, I'd be like, well, I'm paying you, but what are you going to pay me? Since I'm your token. You know what I mean?
I think he's just glad to go.
Sucker. Sucker. Well, it couldn't be me, man.
When he was talking about on Good Morning America, he was enthusiastic about it. So I don't think he's going to take any payment for it.
Fuck that. What are you paying me to go up and potentially not come back? What my family gonna get out of this? Well, not everything is guaranteed, family.
Yeah, so our next topic is Missouri man Kevin Strickland spends 40 plus years in prison on wrongful conviction. State offers zero compensation.
I'll put some footage in there.
No. So after spending 43 years behind bars for a crime he didn't commit, a Missouri man's conviction has been set aside, according to a news release from Jackson County prosecutor Gene Peters Baker. Senior Judge James Welch filed this ruling Tuesday morning to set aside the conviction of a 62-year-old Kevin Strickland, who served 43 years at the Western Missouri Correctional Center in Cameron, Missouri, after he was convicted of 1 count of capital murder and 2 counts of second-degree murder in a triple homicide. He received a 50-year life sentence without the possibility of parole for a crime he maintained he wasn't involved in. Strickland, from a wheelchair, spoke shortly after he was released from jail Tuesday afternoon and said he's thankful for his attorneys and everyone who listened to him over the years while he maintained his innocence. All criminal counts against Strickland were dismissed. His release makes the confinement the longest wrongful imprisonment in Missouri history and one of the longest in the nation. according to the National Registry of Exonerations. Still in disbelief, Strickland said, I didn't think this day would come. Strickland said he found out the news of his release through a breaking news report that interrupted the soap opera he was watching. To say we're extremely pleased and grateful is an understatement, Peter Baker said. This brings justice finally to a man who has tragically suffered so greatly as a result of the wrongful conviction. Strickland testified during a 3-day evidentiary hearing earlier this month, which involved eyewitnesses' testimony given under oath. Strickland's legal team presented evidence and arguments to exonerate him. 4 people were shot in Kansas City, Missouri on April 25th, 1978, resulting in 3 deaths, according to CNN affiliate KSHB. The only survivor of the crime, Cynthia Douglas, who died in 2015, testified in 1978. Strickland was at the scene of the triple murder. Douglas survived the shooting after sustaining a gunshot injury and told police Vincent Bell and Carolyn Atkins were 2 other perpetrators, but she did not identify Strickland, who she knew at the scene until a day later. According to KSHB, after it was suggested to her Strickland's half-matched Douglas description of the shooter. Douglas claimed her initial failure to identify him was due to the use of cognac and marijuana, according to KSHB. But over the past 30 years, she says she made a mistake and falsely identified Strickland. According to KSHB, Douglas made efforts to free Strickland through the Midwest Innocence Project. The 2 assailants Douglas identified at the scene both pleaded guilty to second-degree murder, and each ended up serving about 10 years in prison for the crimes, according to Strickland's attorney, Robert Hoffman. Most of us have heard the famous quote that injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Peter Baker said in an online statement posted in August, Kevin Strickland stands as our own example of what happens when a system set to be just gets it terribly wrong. Strickland thanked the judge for renewing all the non-evidence against him, and he appreciated the judge taking his time to listen and understand what really happened in 1978. Eventually, Strickland said he wants to be involved in speaking and possibly influencing legislation, and added he has ideas on how to keep this from happening to someone else. A GoFundMe account has been set up by the the Midwest Innocence Project to help him restart his life. They know the state of Missouri will provide no compensation for the time he spent in prison. In 2020, there were 129 exonerations nationwide. Defendants exonerated last year lost a total of 1,737 years behind bars, an average of 13.4 years per exoneration, according to a report from the National Registry of Exonerations. And 30% of the wrongful convictions in the registry's database can be traced back to mistaken eyewitness identifications. Whew. So, once again, another black man exonerated for a crime he did not commit. It's a damn shame it took this long for the state of Missouri to realize they made a terrible mistake in incarcerating this man for 40 plus years for a crime he did not commit. And then on top of it, not offering him any compensation. So last I checked, the GoFundMe for Mr. Strickland has reached $1,400,000. So somebody heard the story and is donating to the GoFundMe, which is good because this man needs to be compensated for all the time that he lost for a crime he didn't commit. What you have to add there?
The man went into prison walking, came out in a wheelchair. And during his statements, he was worried, you know. He thought at the time he was going to be able to see his mother. That's what he wanted to see. He wanted to go home and see his mother. Fortunately, they piddle-paddled and drug their feet, and the man's mother passed away. When he got out, he wasn't able to see her. That's another, we'll tack that onto another fucking injustice for this man. He also said, too, if the state wanted to take his fucking wheelchair that he was in, he'd have to give that up. He didn't have no resources at the time of them releasing him. You know, yes, there's family to pick him up, maybe to put him up for a little while, but he's like, more likely I'm about to be homeless, about to be outside, you know what I mean? And that is a fucking tragedy again. I mean, Jesus, he sat there all that time, you know, for the wrong fucking shit. He sat there, and then he had to, you know, do what we all have to do. Thank you for changing your mind, and thank you for actually seeing the evidence, and thank you for actually, you know, letting me out, taking my motherfucking life. His life. He was a young man when he went in. He's an older man now when he came out. He was walking when he went in, proudly. You know, the lady that was, you know, questioning him again, she said, why didn't you, you know, plead guilty? And he said, wasn't about to plead guilty for a crime I had nothing to do with. And he sat in there that whole fucking time. Gets out. He has nothing. And, you know, thankfully, you know, people have been donating to this man. And he's raised, how much?
1.4 million.
1.4 million. It's a start, you know, and it's clearly sitting in there. He hasn't took it out, you know, it's clearly sitting in there. So, you know, we here at the front line, you keep him in our prayers to the ancestors in the universe for a better life for the remaining part of his life, you know. And he has to allocate and adjust to the world now. So a lot of changes have happened since the time he went in till now. You know, everything's different. So, you know, we keep him in our thoughts, prayers to the, you know, to the ancestors in the universe for a better outcome for the remaining part of his life. Because they're not even trying to even give him anything. When they had the chance, the fucking the judge couldn't, or who was it? The judge, the governor, or whatever, couldn't be bothered. Several times could not be bothered with his case.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that's what we're looking at, family.
Yeah, so free our political prisoners.
Free all of
them. The next topic is the Florida hospital steals black couples' babies' organs. This is your topic.
Yeah, this is my topic. I brought this up today. Normally, I try to pick topics early in the week that we could have a chance to look into. Family, I'm gonna show this video. It comes from the African Diaspora Network.
Yeah.
I'm gonna share this. I'm gonna go ahead and say that What we're about to hear is extremely disturbing, graphic, and not for the children. And it is very, very upsetting. So if you find yourself being triggered, we understand, but you've been warned. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and play this. Again, fair use. YouTube. Here we go. Where did it?
That was good.
What was? Oh, did you? Yeah, you put it there. Okay. Sorry about that, sir. Here we go. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
The News Network. Please make sure you click like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the little bell that you know each time we upload a new video. Today, this commentary is going to be very difficult for me to give, but it needs to be known. So please excuse me if I seem a little emotional, but when I explain this story to you, I don't see how you can not feel anything, especially if you are a parent. So I was contacted by Robert and Joy Lisby of Fort Peters, Florida. They have a set of twins. One of the twins, Israel, was 1 year old, was having shortness of breath. So Joy, the mother, contacted her husband and said, something's going on with the baby. We need to get him to a hospital. So the baby was rushed to Longwood Regional Medical Center. And when they arrived, the parents were told that the hospital worked on their baby for 55 minutes and he did not survive. They put the sheet over him and informed the parent of their baby's passing. But 12 minutes later, they later came back and told the parents that he was in stable condition. They moved the baby upstairs, I guess, to a neonatal ICU ward. They sent them upstairs. And so the mother had a lot of questions, as to why they were, what was going on and how could they pronounce him dead, and, just a lot of questions. I would if I were a parent. So they moved the baby upstairs, and they told her they were going to sedate the baby so the baby wouldn't be in pain. Now, she stated that she was able to see her child, and the child had some movement, and she was holding the baby's hands. And so if he's in stable condition, why does he need to be sedated? So she's asking questions. And so they told her so he wouldn't be in pain. 3 hours later, now she's asking questions. What's going on with my baby? What do you think it is? Why are you sedating him? Why did you pronounce him dead? Why did you get, something's not right. It's not sounding right to me. And the security guard came up to her 3 hours later. She's in the hospital. Her husband leaves to go check on the other children. And security told her that she had to leave the hospital because of her tone. That's what they always say about us Black women, our tone. And she was like, what tone? What have I done? I'm just asking questions. Well, she's asking me too many questions. So security came and they brought an officer and they kicked her out. Well, her husband came, kicked them both out. And they were told that DCFS was contacted and that they would be going to court in the morning. And they're like, why is DCFS contacted? What's going on? Keep in mind that they informed me that there is a genetic something, in their family, and they had already lost a child to something similar. So they go home and they're told they're going to be in court the next morning. But at 3 a.m., she said, the marshals or SWAT and DCFS came knocking on their door. They removed her children. They searched her house. And so they found nothing wrong. They took her children and told them that they had a temporary restraining order placed on them by the hospital. Now, this was on April 30th, 8:15 in the morning. The hospital has a temporary restraining order on them, but they're saying that the parents are not suspects. They're not suspected any foul play, but they restrained them from the hospital. So May 4th, this is 2021, the baby sent to the funeral home. They just want to lay the child to rest. The funeral director warned that an autopsy was done on the child. And the parents were informed that the baby's eyes, he said, I've got to warn you about your child and how the child looks. He said the baby's eyes were gone. They were removed. The brain was removed. All the organs were removed. And so Mrs. Lisby stated that it looked like they had sewn their child up with the rope. Now, this was a story that
At Holiday Central, discover 3+ is stuffing your stockings with more gifts than ever before. Deck the halls and walls. Challenge accepted. Slay the competition and celebrate happily ever afters.
it's hard to believe. I'm going to admit, it's hard to believe, but then really considering how they've done us throughout history, it's not hard to believe. So she said that she saw her son and that the baby's eyes were gone. The brain was gone. All the organs were gone. And there was no toe tag to identify her child with. And there was no organ list. And so she's asking, where are her child's organs? And they, for 6 or 7 months, have been trying to get the pathology report, but they keep being told it's not ready. They have a change.org petition asking for signatures so that they can get this information and find out what's going on with their child. What happened, actually, he's been laid to rest, but what happened to their child? Now, I'm going to tell you, I was getting ready to do this segment, and I needed to know, I need to make sure of the name of the parents. So I went on and looked, and I saw the pictures. They asked me if I want to see the pictures because they say a lot of people don't believe them. Then they see the pictures, they're very disturbed. People don't know what to say. People just back up. I didn't want to see the pictures. I'm a parent, I'm a mother, and I didn't want to see it. But I was just trying to make sure I had, some information correct as far as their name. And I saw the pictures, they were there. And it's very disturbing. It's very, very, very disturbing. I've seen a lot of things in my 3 careers, but I've not seen anything like that. I'm not a baby. Brothers and sisters, this is not the only situation going on. There are so many situations. And what's happening is some situations you wouldn't know, people are reaching out to me. Please don't inundate me with a lot of too many stories, because I'm a busy person, but if there's something that I really think that we needed to know about this. Listen, family. Where are Israel's organs?
Right.
What really happened? How do you pronounce a child deceased and then 12 minutes later he's warmed up and he comes back? You're a hospital. You're supposed to know when everything shuts down. That's why you have all those machines. That's why you spend 22 years in college, in medical school, doing internships, masters, bachelors. This is why you have all that. I'm going to say this to you, family. Number one is in medical schools, and I have a few friends who are medical doctors. They actually do teach that we can handle pain better than anyone else. And this is why you sit in the hospital in pain and they don't want to give you any pain medication. Yet Mzungu gets in pain, they get the medication, and they turn around and get addicted to the medication. I've said it before, I'll say it again. In fact, this is just going to have to be my permanent background, because we are people of sight and symbolism, and seeing is believing. You see all these natural, from the Most High Yah's medicinal properties, herbs, tinctures, all that. 2020 has taught us that we can't trust everything we hear. Listen, this was hard for me to believe. We can't trust everything. We can't put our trust in people who, number one, as Dr. Khalid Muhammad said, you can't expect the people that don't treat you right to teach you right. We have been lied to. We have been used as cadavers while we're still breathing. This is historical fact.
Yeah.
Historical fact. I can name several cases. How do you think we got some of this surgery that we have? Who do you think were the lab rats? Brothers and sisters, stop playing games with each other. Stop hating each other. Stop trying to be what you're not. Chase the bag, cool. Why don't you chase your health?
All right, baby family.
Man. First off, our thoughts and prayers go out to the family. That is tragic. And like the sister was saying, this has been happening for years. This is just one of many cases that we know about.
I've been like that most of the afternoon after I saw that, and I decided I was going to talk about it. I have serious questions too. I would have questions too. You're gonna have to, you would have to fucking kick me out too. The shit was suspect. When kid came up dead, and then they go tell 12 minutes later he's not. Keep in mind that little baby had surgery. And they probably want to, not have the baby crying, screaming, whatever. Still not the fucking point. The fact that after that they threw the parents out, and then they send the SWAT to the fucking parents' crib, and then they take the rest of the fucking children. We haven't talked about that part, and then to go find out that you can't lay your kid to rest. A twin, nonetheless, you can't lay that child to rest because it's missing everything. And nobody told him until then, right? And I was trying to look up some more information on this case, because it just popped up today. I was trying to look up. It just led me on a more thorough investigation of how many Black children, little boys and girls, not just little boys and girls. We're talking about other women and even Black men that are coming up missing in that area. Found later with no fucking organs in their body. But the fucking market for the shit is exuberantly high. Like I read somewhere, I believe I got it in my phone right here and saved it. Something like $23,000 for a fucking kidney.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That they're using they're taking our. I've been taking our children. This is going on all over, especially in the South. They're taking our children. They're taking Black women, Black men going missing. Like Hoffa, not coming back. Don't know where they went. But all of a sudden, there's a big market for fucking kidneys, hearts, and brains. You know what I mean? And all of a sudden, they're finding other cures for this and that. Okay. Because you already know, family, how important we are to the fucking universe. Okay, we are here for a motherfucking reason, right? But not for that reason. Family, let's not get it twisted. Not for the fucking reason of experiment. Because we're fucking shine bright. We are right. We are here before them. Not for that motherfucking reason, okay? So, till we find out further information, on this particular family, Let's not forget all the other families and people that are lost and the children that are going missing that haven't seen their families if they're still alive. Because it's a lot of black children and men and women, young boys and girls that are gone, and this has been going on for a long fucking time, and we don't talk about it. And it's barely on the motherfucking internet. I had to go really fucking deep and dig, and I was like, everything I read led to motherfucking black child organ trafficking. Everything, they're trafficking us. They're doing a lot of ugly shit. A lot of fucking ugly shit. And it's not the first time a motherfucker heard this. It's just a lot to read. That's a lot to read. And it'll say the devil ain't got no soul. They don't feel nothing when they're doing it to us, okay? But you got motherfuckers like us that have souls. And feeling it. We're feeling it. So, we just want them to be able to get it together and figure it out, because that shit is it's not an injustice. It's fucking unnecessary. It's fucking wrong. And whoever's doing that shit, they deserve worse than what they're giving these people. Whoever's fucking profiting off of it, hope it's motherfucking worth it whenever we find you. You know what I mean? So hopefully somebody will find them and fucking do the worst shit. Because that would then be justice for all the motherfucking little murders and kidnappings and fucking torturing. And experimental shit is torture, family. Don't forget that part. And this has been going on for generations and generations and generations. So let's see if I can pull it up real quick. But it was I got it real quick. It was something so fucking horrible. Like the amount of money was I wanted to say this part. Let me just read this real quick. The source is the reporter. Okay, it said I'm just gonna read like for real quick. Okay, it says young people are online more because of school closures and many institutes. Many of them are alone most of the time rather than with their friends. Adhering to social distancing, families are facing financial hardships from their job loss during COVID-19 and may be distracted. Cassandra Scott, a seasoned investigator in human trafficking, during her presentation said that many black boys and black girls are being forced into either sex trafficking, labor trafficking, or both. They are victims of organ trafficking in South Africa. A heart or lung sells for $290,000 each. Scott also pointed out that children have been trafficked by an intimate partner at 30.4% during the pandemic, meaning, Black family, somebody sold them. Somebody close to them, a family member. I don't give a fuck how hard times get. Where do you fucking sell your child? While social media contact is 28.4%, perpetrators lure children through social media and gift card exchange, PayPal, and Cash App. Recent studies also reveal that as many as half of sex trafficking victims and survivors are male. Black princes and kings. Okay. Here's something else. Human traffickers include cancer surgeons, family, church members, and grandmothers. Some business owners conduct human trafficking right out of their legal businesses. Therefore, our state and local governments, community leaders, and each of us must pay attention to what is going on in our country concerning human trafficking. This is important. During the pandemic, I received an email from an African-American young woman who saw a 2019 article about human trafficking. She agreed the conversation about missing Black women and girls has stopped. I was also contacted by a reporter from Europe Sky News Media, who also saw my article about missing Black women and girls. Question information. We're still facing major challenges in 2021. However, we must address with persistent urgency the thousands of missing young Black Americans in the United States being lured into human trafficking. Okay, this said that also it says we're on this particular article that the amount of Black children and black anything Black come up missing, okay, being trafficked, the stock market goes up, and it's been up like this during fucking COVID. I'm gonna pause and let you think about that for a second. Okay. Says yeah. Basically that's what it is. I can't find the exact thing, but basically saying that stock market went up, Black people are coming up missing. Let's put those two together during COVID. A man-made fucking, pandemic. Let's think about that, okay? Because somebody's making a lot of motherfucking money during this motherfucking pandemic. And a lot of lives are being lost, not just to the motherfucking illness. So, think about that, fella.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, we have to get to our next two topics, and that is unhoused neighbor news and unhoused neighbor sweeps. So, as you're fully aware, if you're here in the Mile High Income City, the sweeps continue. It's been over 100 sweeps this year alone. That's double the amount of sweeps that were all of last year. And Mayor Michael Hancoon is continuing to usher them out week after week after week. So we just got some real disturbing news in regards to our unhoused neighbors. This upcoming week, there's going to be 3 sweeps. Displacing more than 100 unhoused neighbors
at each sweep.
So, Bay can elaborate and tell you more information. We're running short on time. So.
Yeah, I'll be brief. We got a couple minutes, right? Be brief. This could be like 3 major sweeps. These encampments are large. They've been told that if they get caught in the city with anything that looks like camping material, like camp tent, anything, tickets and jail. Okay, so I did a show yesterday on the Revolutionary Agenda. Please check that out because it's a major call to action. If you're in the city, we need you. So I put that out there. It's very serious. And we're trying to look. We here at the Frontline campaign, the Frontline Black News Revolutionary Agenda. We believe in tangibles right now. So we're working on some things behind the scenes, and hope I will not be stopped from my motherfucking my belief system. So I don't think this is fair. And if you're watching the show yesterday on the Revolutionary Agenda, made it perfectly clear on how I feel. I've been saying it forever. You can't treat people like this. We're also looking at just to make sure we got our bases covered. But when I say we, I mean me. It's covered in regards to the laws in this state. So we do have a camping ban. The white supremacy and white racists that do not feel they don't feel
overturn.
They don't feel obligated, but they don't fail to not mention that it is against the law to camp in the city. They mention it almost every week. So I'm on a revolutionary tip. So I'm just gonna say it like that. I said that shit for my program, but I'm definitely on some old renegade revolutionary type mindset right now. And it's it's unfair and shit has to fucking change in my opinion. Homelessness is a humanitarian issue, and it really doesn't have a color. Anybody and their fucking mother can be homeless by tomorrow. and they be thrown out. It's happening all over fucking Colorado. People are getting evicted and thrown out and ending up in tents. So it can happen to anybody. It's not because you're just because. However, with that being said, almost 70% of the homeless population here is Black. So when we go out, when I and Che go out to these sweeps, we are there also to look out for our family. Be one. You know what I mean? First and foremost, homeless people. You know what I mean? So those people are very important. They are something to me. It's hard. We're definitely going hard for what we believe in. Being that we have combined living fucking experience in this fucking city. And we are not sellouts.
Right.
Doesn't matter if we have fucking apartments that are big fucking responsibilities and big headaches. We still are not sellouts, so we still love the people in our city. And it's about the people, not fucking money over people. It's people over profit.
That's right.
Okay. So with that being said, I thank you all for watching. That is my closing statement. Stay Black, stay dangerous, and keep your fucking head on swivel. Watch your children. Watch your loved ones. Keep your man. You know what I mean? Be one, Black first, always. You know what I mean? That's all I gotta say right there.
Thank you, babe. So this has been episode 38 of the Frontline Black News. Thank you for tuning in. We'll be back next week with the brand new episode of the Frontline Black News. In the meantime, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button for Frontline Black News. Make sure you check out Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced on Tuesday at 6 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. The call-in number is 516-418-5996. And give us your questions, comments, and concerns. And also check out the Revolutionary Agenda on Thursdays at 4 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And donate to the PayPal. The link is at the bottom of your screen.
He said, "We need help." I need help anyway. I'm gonna say I need help. I have a class, very important class I would like to attend for the betterment of my education. So I'm trying to raise a little bit of money. It's not a lot, just a little bit. If you can, if you feel compelled, hit that cash or hit the PayPal. Thank you. And if anything, share. You don't have to like it, just share it. That's important. Okay.
So peace, love, light, and Black empowerment.
Yes.
We're out. Peace.
Peace.